Okay, here I am going to be going a little bit deeper into one ingredient. If you have not checked out the video I uploaded yesterday titled Were the Watts Really Thriving, that helps give a background on where I'm coming from with this. So, here is the form of forskolin that is patented forskolin that Thrive uses, and it says the mode of action of forskolin is by increasing the cellular concentrations of cyclic AMP and CAMP mediated functions via activation of the enzyme adenylate cyclase. Forgive me, I'm probably going to be butchering the pronunciation of a lot of these words. So even though it's saying it's working in your brain, it's also going down here to talk about the decrease in body fat, which is the goal of using this in this product. But in the patent for the US, this is where they were patenting the method of preparing it. Under 3, you'll see it says, further subject matter of the invention is a method of treating a mood disorder in a patient in need of such treatment, comprising administering to the patient a mood disorder treating effective amount of forskolin. The mood disorder can be, for example, depression or anxiety. When you go over here, it says, regarding the control of mood disorders, without being bound by any theory, basically saying they're speculating themselves, the present inventors believe that the biological mechanism by which forskolin treats these disorders is as follows, which makes sense. This is confirming what I just showed you in the forskolin page. Forskolin restores the level of monoamines. There is an increase in CAMP in the postsynaptic effector cells in the brain, which is a second messenger in comparison to the primary messenger action of the monoamines. So I understand this can be confusing and even overwhelming, and I'm just trying to do a very quick breakdown. I am not a medical expert, and I am not giving medical advice. Introduction to the monoamine system. This is saying, in regards to treating depression this way, or mood disorders, psychostimulants exert their effects by acting on a range of biological systems. One of the primary targets of psychostimulant activity is a monoamine system. Monoamines refer to the particular neurotransmitters dopamine, noradrenaline, and serotonin. Dopamine and noradrenaline are sometimes also referred to as catecholamines. These neurotransmitters are involved in mediating a wide range of physiological and homeostatic functions which vary with the part of the brain being examined. That's kind of scary to me. And I'm not saying nobody should be using anything to treat mood disorders. It's quite the opposite. Like, this should be more regulated. A doctor should be handling anything that can affect chemicals in your brain. Granted, I understand, like, everything's made of chemicals. I may eat an apple today and have it affect me somehow. I don't know everything about everything. However, this really struck me. It's basically saying it works as an MAOI instead of an SSRI, which is how they typically treat depression and anxiety today. And they started by treating them more so with MAOIs. That brings me to this real quick. When you're talking about that CAMP, this is a great overview from Science Direct, which is basically saying it affects the brain and it can affect it positively or it can affect it negatively. Take from that what you will. There are recommendations to stay away from aspirin. It says moderate may slow blood clotting. Some medications that slow blood clotting include aspirin as well as ibuprofen, naproxen, naproxen. So basically, any over-the-counter pain medications besides acetaminophen, from what I can tell, which is Tylenol, you just want to be cautious if you're taking this. And I can't help but think how that white willow bark is in there, and if that may be the same interaction? I don't know. This is just something I found interesting. How antidepressant drugs act. A primer on neuroplasticity is the eventual mediator of antidepressant efficacy. You can't mess with these things and not have some help. Like if you feel you need prescription medication, you need to work with a doctor. It's usually a lot of trial and error, and you need to stick with it. I've known a lot of people, they couldn't just try one. And here's another page of just facts about possible reactions to this. This coleus is forskolin. And you can see it does affect the thyroid, which may be a positive thing. It could be stimulating positive things. It even says somewhere in here it can help thyroid medication work better if you are taking it. So I just want to mention this also says neurologic herbs and supplements. Forskolin was shown to possess antidepressant activities. Therefore, its use with other antidepressants may lead to additive effects. A lot of people have been saying in regards to these products, they're just vitamins and caffeine. It's just caffeine and vitamins when people bring up a concern about them. And I hope that this either arises more doubt and questions for consumers in general, or we get some answers. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping this doesn't affect the brain. I'm hoping it's in such small quantities, but you can clearly see Forskolin. I got this product is a patented product Thrive uses, and the primary mode of action is increasing the cellular concentrations of cyclic and CAMP mediated functions via activation. So there you have it. Here is a good blog that has a great overview with a lot of sites, which is basically saying, yes, it's been shown to decrease fat in males, but not in women. It helped women maintain their weight, but they didn't really lose weight, which also makes sense to me in regards to the Chris Watts case. I just want to mention real quick, Shanann's dad, during a police interrogation, said that one of their family friend's daughters was a prison guard and passed away from a heart attack after drinking Red Bulls, and so they stayed away from stimulants, or they had learned their lesson, something to that effect. I really don't believe Shanann knew these things, and I'm not blaming her for them. I'm saying it as an empathetic person that has autoimmune diseases myself. I know how people will patent these supplements and try to make so much money off of people who are suffering. In addition to her lupus, Shanann had problems with vertebrae in her neck, and my C3 and C4 discs are deteriorating. I know how much that can hurt. I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, the #1 cause of infertility in women in America, and I know what it's like to struggle with having a baby and then to have your miracle babies and then to feel like you're not giving them your all because you're sick most of the time. Shanann was sold false promises, and we need to wise up as a society in her honor, in my opinion, to help stop this and stop it from happening to people like her. They are taking advantage of people who are sick.